Everyone, it's Ray again with Becoming Her Beyond Measure, and we are back for part 2 of things I no longer believe about success. So, if you watched the first video, we went through the first 10 things that I no longer believe, and I created this video because I am starting the 90 days to become her challenge from June 1st and all the way until like August 30th or 31st, I think it is. And the point is, letting go of these limiting beliefs are really important. And so we're just going to get started with number 11, which is, again, as I was saying, like some of these are self development related, so they might not relate for everyone. But more certifications means more credibility. So this is something I believe for a long time. I have about so many certifications. I don't even know how many actually. In the last month, I've gotten about 4 new ones, and I realized that none of this matters if you aren't actually doing anything with that information and if you're not using it to help people. The point of certifications, the point of doing all this is so that you can help people. And if you're not doing that, then you're doing a disservice. Number 12, you have to be loud to be heard. I feel like that's a misconception too, but my opinion is that while being vocal is important and you do have to share your story and you do have to put yourself out there, you do not have to be the loudest in the room to be the most powerful in the room. I think that one of the things I've learned from watching self development videos and podcasts and all the things is that actually being a great listener and so in some ways being the quietest person in the room, the one who's not always talking, but when you do speak, you have something powerful to say and something valuable and important to say. That matters a lot than talking all the time. Number 13, $1 million is the only number worth chasing. So, like I was saying in the previous video, I used to strive for $1 million and I've gotten away from that. And I've decided that everyone can set their own baseline for comfort, and mine isn't a specific number, it's just being able to afford the life that I want with ease. It's more of a feeling. I'll know that I'm successful when I feel comfortable, when I feel peaceful, when I feel like I don't have to work, like when I feel like relaxing and being stable and just enjoying life won't won't mean that I'm doing myself a disjustice. So for example, if I take a week off, it won't mean that I'll have to scramble when I go back to work. I'll still be okay. So that's what success looks like to me. It's not a monetary number. 14. The grind never stops. Um, Having this mentality 24/7 will eventually lead to internal system overhaul and your body will shut down. It's not sustainable. This is something that I used to believe, that the grind never stops. You even hear it sometimes, like um with a lot of streamers and celebrities, the grind don't stop, etc., etc. And while that works for them, it's also a very masculine mentality. And as someone who is wanting to step more into my feminine, it just doesn't align for me. I feel like I have performed from that idea for so long. And I did actually have a moment where my body shut down on me because I was subscribing to this and not taking the rest that I needed, not taking the time to recuperate I needed, and really just always being on the go. And so that's why I'm really stepping away from that in this new season. Number 15. Needing rest means something is wrong with you or that you're falling behind. Needing rest actually means that you're human. We all need rest. Honoring your body's circadian rhythm instead of ignoring it is the best thing that you can do for yourself. Again, if you don't take the time to rest, your body will force you. I have seen this recently with my mom, and I know I keep using her as an example, but I think it's because in my life, what success looks like to me in a large summation is to break generational curses. And so that's why I keep using her, because she's what I see. And she's sort of the inspiration for what I don't want to be in a lot of ways. And so um recently my mom has been working. She doesn't get enough sleep at night, and what that looks like for her is body pain. And to one point, there was a time when she was still working 2 jobs, and her body just gave out on her a few times last year. um and essentially now her body is just giving up on her. She'll sometimes try to do things and ignore her body's circadian rhythm when it comes to sleeping, and her body will eventually just shut down at the most inopportune times. We are all in school. I'm working on my second master's, and my mom is working on her bachelor's degree. But she'll be sitting there trying to do homework, and her body will just get shut down on her, and she'll just pass out. And again, that's inconvenient for her because she needs to be doing the homework so that she can get where she wants to be in life. But because she's not honoring her body and resting when she needs to, her body just takes that time at whatever point it can. 16. You have to choose between financial success and inner harmony. I feel like you don't have to choose, but you do have to acknowledge that at a certain point, achieving more financially will mean that you might get out of alignment um, and inner harmony, and you just have to accept that. Like, if that's something you're willing to do, then you move forward with that. Me, on the other hand, I am not willing to sacrifice inner harmony for financial success, and so that's a no for me. Okay. Another thing I just wanted to say is that is why I had decided to do a career change, because at some point I was realizing that achieving more financially and just in my previous career would mean that I wouldn't be able to show up as the mother that I wanted to show up as. And for me, that just didn't match the type of woman I wanted to be, essentially. And so while it would have been nice to go and further down this career, at the end of the day, I knew that wouldn't have been successful to me. Like, I wouldn't have been happy living that life. And so we're going to move on to number 17, which is that success requires you to perform a version of yourself that the internet or the collective approves of. And that's why I kind of just stated what I just previously stated, because when it came to me furthering my path and getting licensure and credentialing in the career that I was in, everyone thought that that was the best idea for me, and they were kind of like pressuring me into it and forcing me into it. And I almost gave in until I realized, like, I asked myself, would I be happy doing this 1 year from now? Well, or in 5 years from now. And it was actually 5 years from now. And I was like, I can't even see myself doing this 5 years from now. So why would I even get the credentialing if I know it's not something that would make me happy? In the beginning, I never even wanted to go into that career. I just did it because everyone said I should. And I was seeing myself only being stuck there. That's what credentialing meant for me. It meant stuckness. So I think the most important part when it comes to number 17 and just success in general is really creating a life that's going to make you feel fulfilled. And so um you absolutely do not have to do what everyone else is doing. I feel like if you have to perform to be well liked, accepted, and ultimately successful, then that's not true success, and that's just my opinion. Your worth is tied to your output. Again, as I was saying, as a college student, this was something I felt so strongly. Even with going into my first career and my first years in a big girl job. I was the one doing the most. I was the one always helping out, always staying later and coming in earlier. And over time, one, it doesn't make you as valuable as you think it does. Because then I found that everyone was just expecting more of me, and there wasn't any compensation or any extra recognition for it. I just kind of became a doormat, and that was something that I did not want to do. So I have here, your worth is tied to how you show up, not how much you do. So when you do something, are you doing your best? That is all that matters. That is success. So I'm not saying don't go in and do mediocre work. Like, I decided that I'm still going to do my best, but I'm also not going to be an overachiever because I don't have to be anymore. Like, if the work that I do isn't if the work that I do originally is not enough for you, then that's fine. I'm just not enough for you. And that is when I know that maybe this situation, maybe this circumstance, this job is no longer aligned for me. Um to a caveat to that, like, of course you could be pushed to do a little bit more. Um and you should always want to strive to be better, but I feel like, again, you know your limits and you know what feels good to you, so it's really about just listening to yourself. But like I was saying, I know what works for me, and I know that I already naturally overachieve and I already naturally do a good job, so I don't need someone to tell me to do more. I was already going to do that. And so if you're telling me to do the more than the more I already naturally do, then that's where it doesn't make sense for me. Um, Number 19. Only certain people can be successful. Anyone but me. So for the longest time I had, oh, that's cool, they can do that, but not me. Oh, she can do that, but not me. Oh, he can do that, but not me. Um, and I was like, why not me though? If they can do it, that's a sign that it's possible, and that means that I can do it too. So I wrote here, anyone can be successful in their own right. Again, your version of success may not be the same as someone else's, and that's exactly the point. So when it comes to YouTube, for example, I was like, oh, everyone else has really nice videos, and even when they're starting YouTube, a lot of people have really nice cameras and really nice equipment, and within their first year on YouTube, they get like 10K or 100K, and that's not possible for me. And I was like, yes, that there's you know, anomalies and people do better than others because, you know, just happenstance, really. But that doesn't mean that 100,000 subscribers is not achievable at all for me. It just means that it might not look that way, and that's okay because it's my journey. So my journey doesn't have to look the same as everyone else's because it wouldn't be mine. If it's just different, and like I said, I am starting YouTube a little bit later in life and later after everyone else has started YouTube. I'm also a mother, I'm also a student, and for me, I don't want YouTube to be a full-time career. I want it to be a hobby. I really want it to I'm using it to really be a platform for me to share my knowledge and my passions with other people. And I also have other things in life that I am focusing more attention on and furthering with. And so that's gonna change too because the output is different. And that's something to keep in mind. And so, my final one, number 20, is that the idea that you can't be successful doing something you love. You absolutely can, and you should only base your success off of doing something you love or being able to create a life you love. I absolutely think that I used to say, like, oh, I love teaching, I love writing, I love helping people. And I learned that that couldn't be something that I did as a career because it wasn't the money maker. Everything doesn't have to turn into careers just because you're passionate about it or because you love it. And some things should remain a hobby. I am choosing that. For me, it makes no sense for me to be in a career or a job that I don't love. That just seems like a waste of time. Um, and it'll be a life that I regret having lived. And my biggest philosophy in life is living a life of no regrets. And so I stepped away from the thing that made me more money so that I could do the thing that I actually love to do and live a life that actually feels like my own and feels good to me. So that means teaching full time in multiple different capacities. Um, and then writing as a hobby. And of course, I will publish my book, but I'm not expecting it to be my main career, and that's okay, but I'm still gonna do the things, and that's successful to me. Success, again, as I've stated, doesn't have to be monetary. So as long as I'm putting myself out there and doing the things that I love, that's okay. It doesn't have to make me money. Helping people doesn't have to make me money. I'll feel successful just knowing I changed one person, just knowing I helped one person. And so, if I had to sum up all the things that I've realized, it's really just that um no one is you, and that's your superpower. And specifically when it comes to success, no one's no one can tell you what success is to you. So this isn't something you can ask ChatGPT. This isn't something that you can ask your parents. This is something you should really sit down and become self-aware about and define what success looks like to you. I think a really great thing, if it's not already clear,